what I love about Kyla Frye is that she's very professional. You know, she's very professional, and you know, you bring her on a project, she's on it. She's on it. There's none of that. Sometimes I think actors can sort of like be a bit laid back into a project, into a process, but she's already on it, but not so on it that there's not flexibility there. And for me, I love that type of actor that comes prepared. They lay down what their ideas are of the character and what they want to do, and just forever sort of executing their craft in a great way. And also, you know, she's a great PR machine. Do you know what I mean? I'm taking tips for her as well, and it's a fine balance, because you know, people might look at actors and go, oh man, why are they doing all that about themselves? I'm not like that. But I think it depends what type of DNA you have in your system as an actor, because I think, you know, we've got a lot to learn from how it's done in America, in LA and stuff like that. And I think there is a great way of going there, learning how they do it, and not having it branded over. You go, yeah, I'm going on the LA style, but just having that inner spirit of it and conducting yourself in that way, and in a way that it would help you in a positive way here. And I think she does that really well. Do you know what I mean? You know, you always know what she's doing. She's always doing quality work. You know what I mean? She's very humble, and you know, but she remains honest and open and hungry. She wants to do the great work, and she wants to be the best that she can be. And for me, you know, when I see that, you know, I always want to work with that type of people and that type of talent, and I'm hoping that we're going to be working together again soon.
Experience working with Kyla Frye. I worked with Kyla Frye on The Naked Poet with Jason Barrett. I got to kiss Kyla Frye, which was real cool. She kissed really well. But beyond that, she's, you know, Kyla, I think Kyla is one of the old school actors in the sense of she takes it very, very, very seriously. Her work is obviously something very important to her, and you know, I remember, you know, her preparing for a scene where her character and my character have the breakup, whatever. And I just think that, you know, she's a person that can really go far if she does what we all have to do, which is just remain focused and just, you know, be hungry and stay focused on the craft, stay focused on the acting, stay focused on the quality of work. And I think that those are the things that she has in her favor, you know. And that's one thing I can say. When we work together, she took it very, very seriously, and she's always someone that she's into acting. She's into character, she's into, you know, that. And for my experience with working with Kyla, you know, I can put that to her credit, definitely, that the work is something that's very important to her.
I've worked with Kyla Frye for a few years now. I say work, I don't really see it as work. I was fortunate enough to see this actress in a couple of films, and I was just trying to think, I've seen her somewhere. And then I was invited to a screening of The Naked Poet. This was back in December 2011. It's pretty much, there was an all-star cast there, as it were. So I'm thinking, okay, this looks interesting. You've got the likes of Kyla there, you've got Aml Ameen there, Mohammed George, Petra Latang, what's his name, Harvey, who's in another house somewhere. So you have all these people in a film, and I'm thinking, well, after the last British Urban Film Festival, here's a film with the potential to really go far. And I had a brief chat with Kyla Frye at the screening, and I said to her, I need to follow you. I want to know more about you. And as we kind of communicated over the months, I got her to write a blog for me to talk about her experiences in the industry. And when her blog actually came out, it was at a very interesting time, because there was a film called Farskos, which was about to be released in the cinemas. And one of the producers on that film had quoted that the lead actress in that film was the first black British actress in a lead. And I saw this article 2 days after it was published, and I thought, that doesn't sound right. So people, if you read the blog, which is www.britishurbanfilmfestival.blogspot.com. It's quite a long one, but if you go on there, you'll see Kyla's blog and you will see mentions of that particular article and the actual backlash off the back of it. It went out to the States, who picked up on it, and lots of people who obviously follow the film industry, and in particular Black British actresses, took an interest in that in terms of what Kyla had to say and what Buff had to say, because it's very important to respect what has gone before you talk about the future. And that's another lesson that I think people need to realise, that although Buff has only been doing what it's been doing for 7 years, there's a lot of things that have happened before Buff, which I always take notice about. And obviously with actresses like Kyla and other people in the industry doing what they're doing now, hopefully they're going to be in it for the long haul. I really do believe that.
Okay, so the first time I met Kyla Frye was at the auditions for a film called The Hydra, back in 2008. And she came in to audition for a character called Chanel, which I actually wrote, because the guy, it was becoming I made the film with Nosé Benedin and Charlotte Amu, and it was a very masculine piece, and I really wanted to bring in a female. It's a neo-noir film, so we had the femme fatale, so the only female representation in there was very negative and dark, and she was responsible for the downfall of the protagonist, which is what happens in a lot of noir films and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I wanted to include a much more gentle and vulnerable character. And so I just had this idea. I said, guys, I want to put this Chanel in there. And they're like, okay, whatever. And then when Kyla walked in, we just knew right away that this is the person, this is who I wrote. It was Kyla. And so that was it. She got the role. Obviously on set, she's just a dream to work with, professional, just kind of gets on with it really, and gave a fantastic performance as well, to say the least. So that was my first experience with her. And I remember when we won Best Film at the BFI, I've come out of my shell a lot, and I'm still quite reserved, but I didn't want to go up on the stage when we won, and everyone, Shola was behind me. Shola just whoosh, went right to the front of the stage, and I was just sitting there like this, and all my friends were like, go on, and I was like, no, it's fine, I don't want to go up on the stage, and then Kyla was walking, and Kyla was practically refusing to go up on the stage until I went. She's like, come on, and I was like, no, Kyla, just go. She's like, come on, and I was like, and then she just took me by the hand, and we walked up together. So that was a testament to her character. She refused to let me miss out on that moment, and it was a very, very significant moment in my life. So that showed me a lot about her character. Obviously, I knew her as a great actress, but that showed me a lot about her heart. And then after that, Zion, which was 2 years later, again, when I wrote the script, and I didn't audition for the role. I just emailed her, I think. Was it an email or a text? Or a call? A call. I called her, and I just said, I've got something for you. And she's like, okay, what is it? And I told her about it, and that was it. She got it. No one had to audition because I didn't want anyone else. And I was very, very honoured that she took the role and she gave it her all. I think I've seen a lot of Kyla's work, and maybe I'm biased, but that to me was her best performance ever. And she was in touch with the character. She did a lot of method acting. She became the character. It was a really intense role. I couldn't have asked any more from an actress, and especially as a writer as well. She brought it to life and she brought herself to it. So I'm very appreciative of it. So yeah, that's Kyla. She gives it 110%, and she's fearless, and that's why I love her to bits.
I felt that Kyla Frye should make Future Leaders magazine 2010 and 2011 because when she came into the room, she really did light up the room. She was somebody who, with Future Leaders, it's not just about academics, it's not just about, one thing, it's about a package. And that's what I always look for when we are choosing our future leaders. We have judges, but when we're sort of, interviewing people and we put them through to the shortlist, it's people that who personify, people who are going to lead in the future, people who show initiative, people who have a spark, people who are bubbly, people who have personality, people who have ambition, and also they showcase hard work in what they've done. So I think Kyla definitely, she had that, she encapsulated that, and she was just really interesting to interview. Sometimes you kind of go through the interviews and there's people that stand out, and Kyla was definitely someone who stood out, someone who you kind of know that that person's going to do something amazing. So she was definitely one of those people.
When I started working here at Theatre Royal Stratford East, Kyla Frye was in junior youth theatre. And I remember her energy, I remember her talent, I remember her being a tomboy, but she had a spark, you know, she definitely had something there in which I wanted to work with, all right? On point, focused, never messed around. If you did mess around, it'd be like 2 little giggles, but then you're back on point. Never missed about, you know, stayed on track. If there may be a couple of giggles and then she was back on track, right? Okay, working with the group, working with me. So for me, I knew that she had a talent, and I knew she had the drive to achieve her goal, but I wasn't too sure where it was at that point. I didn't know if it was dance, and I didn't know if it was drama. I think she was just hungry just to do anything, and just to keep active. She left drama. I don't know why she left, but she did. I didn't do anything. And from then, I just used to see her from time to time passing by, usually on a bicycle in a tomboy state, always smiling, saying I'm doing something, just tomboy, always. And then I stopped seeing her, and the next time I saw her, she was modelling or something. Yeah, so, but then I did watch, when I realised she was back in the acting game properly, I did catch a couple of things she was in, so that was good for me to see. I couldn't put no claim to it because I didn't get to work with the woman, right? I wasn't the one that made her cry first in the rehearsal room, you know. So yeah, that's my first. Yeah, that's my memories of Kyla, and just feeling gutted I didn't get to work with her. Gutted, absolutely gutted, which I told her time and time again.
My experience of working with Kyla Frye is I've worked with Kyla Frye on 4 projects, showreel, music video, and 2 films. My experience of working with her has been that she has been a consummate actress. She's about the truth. She's about finding what's real about her character and bringing that to fruition in whichever film she works in. You know, I can't really, you know, say much in terms of, like, say enough in terms of praise for the fact that she is, Kyla is an actress who I feel, you know, is dedicated to what she does. And she's just a good person to have on set, because you need people like her on set who, you know, are good and talented at what they do, but at the same time, promote, you know, positive energy throughout the whole set. She's like a good fairy godmother kind of thing, you know. That's what I think.
So I met Kyla when we were doing the Urban Fashion Music Awards, I think it was called, in 2006. That was my first experience with Kyla. I remember her because she was the first girl I saw with a red afro. And it looked so lovely, and I was just thinking, wow, she's got so much confidence, and it just expresses power, and that's what attracted me to Kyla. And we continued to be friends because she then entered into Miss Black Britain, and she came in the final 3, I think it was second or third runner-up, one of those 2. And that was after the year that I had won it. And I think we've just grown to be good friends since then. I know we part ways throughout life, and I know that we're not always in contact, but when we do come back in contact, it's always positive, and we're both doing what we want to be doing. So it's just great always seeing her and knowing that she's living her dream, and we're both still at it. I know that she hasn't stopped it, and I know that she's not just quitting and said, right, I'm just going to go into full-time employment and I'm just going to do this because it's too hard, or so, you know. She's just very determined for it, and she's very motivated, and that's why I like her, and that's why I think we're still in a connection, you know. So Kyla's lovely. Kyla's lovely.